terms of the UX experience in nurturing startups, because I know that right now you are redoing the NSF, which you've had the pleasure of advising. Even the programs under the National Science Foundation have had their, let's say, remodeling, or maybe if it's not the exact term, but how do you see the remodeling of the National Science Foundation and the overall startup scene in the US? And is it upgrading to the next level in which most of the US legislators want to see it?
Yeah, I have to give this disclaimer that I'm not speaking here on behalf of the National Science Foundation, and this is my personal viewpoint. I think, moving a little more strategic level, so the US recognized that we are perhaps not doing as well in certain areas like semiconductors, artificial intelligence, for example. So there was a Chips and Science Act which brought in close to $200 billion of funding into these specific areas. A very large portion of that went into research, translation, and commercialization. So, like you pointed out rightly, through the National Science Foundation, there were 8 centers, regional economic engine centers, which were given the money at $160 million each for a 10-year period of time to improve commercialization and translation. I think that will have far-reaching impact in the US, especially in areas which are not the Silicon Valley, not Cambridge, not New York City, those areas to come up in entrepreneurship and startups. So I think fundamentally looking at how can we take research, which good research is there, but how can you impact people's lives with that research? That research translation needs to be carefully thought about, and it takes time. It has taken us 44 years to figure out what is a good model in the United States. So it doesn't happen overnight. And I think what you're again doing in Bulgaria right now is commendable, but it does take some time to get to that sweet spot of inflection point of taking startups to market.